What's up guys, Manny from MotoMillion. The 1199R Resurrection continues. Well, Resurrection it is, but I'd like to call it the RestoMod. I'm sure if you're around cars, you've heard that term. It's a term that's quite used around classic cars. In this case, we're using it on a motorcycle. I don't even know if anyone has called a motorcycle a RestoMod, but it's very fitting in this case of this 1199R. If you've watched some of our episodes of the previous build, we've modified stuff and we've also restored some of the stuff like the frame of this motorcycle, at least the front frame of this bike, where we made it as good as new or better than new. And today, we have these beautiful Brembo boxes. It means that we're continuing on with some of the braking stuff. We did our master cylinders on our handlebar episode. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. And if you've heard the RestoMod term in terms of motorcycles before, I'd love to see some of the projects, so comment down below. Let's get on with the parts. Let's show you the shiny stuff. So this is our Billet Rear Caliper. This is two-piece. And then right here, we have the beautiful GP4-MS calipers, which are shiny, matching the rear caliper, but they're also a monoblock caliper. Let's quickly go over and tell you guys what it is. Monoblock, two-piece, what does it do? So this caliper is a monoblock caliper. This starts from a single piece of billet aluminum, and the machines that they use, they machine it to put it in the shape that they have it here. So what does it matter if it's a monoblock or a two-piece? It's all about stiffness. When you have calipers, you're trying to do two things. You're trying to make sure that this thing doesn't deform with the pressures of braking, and also you want to make sure that it also cools the braking system, right? In cars, brakes are cooled through their rotors, and on motorcycles, the main cooling element is your caliper. This is where most of the heat is held. So that's also what it's trying to achieve. Stiffer the caliper, the better and consistent braking feel that you have, and also braking performance that you get. But don't forget, if it's a two-piece caliper, it doesn't mean automatically it's a worse caliper. Everything is calculated. So in this case, this is probably one of the stiffest road calipers that Brembo makes now. There's also a newer fin version of it that we're not using in this motorcycle. We're doing a RestoMod, but we also want to be period correct. That's why these GP4-MSs, without the cooling fins, I think they look a little less busy, so they look cleaner, but also they fit the era where this motorcycle came from. I mean, these are much newer than this 1199R, but it's just cleaner and it fits this build. In terms of fitting, we're going to be using our ProTi Titanium Bolts. These are fully forged. They're the top of the line bolts. Doesn't matter if you save a few grams here and there. No, it doesn't. But if you're putting some of the top of the line stuff, you want to make sure you're using top of the line hardware. That's why we have this. And also in terms of servicing and also bleeding things, we love our Stahlbus Bleeder Valves. You've seen this many times on our episodes that we use this all the time. It's just a no-brainer. If you're upgrading your calipers, just grab these, makes the bleeding process much easier. But that being said, enough talking, more working. Let's get the shiny stuff on this motorcycle, and then we'll take a look back and see how good it looks. As things get nicer, my smile gets larger, because take a look at this. I don't think it gets any nicer than this. In terms of road calipers, guys, just GP4-MS is looking amazing. It really already updated the look of this front end on this motorcycle. Obviously, we have our stock Öhlins fork, which is still relevant today, but BSD StarTech wheels are brand new with the Super Sport rotor that we already installed with the wheels. The ProTi bolts look great because it's not taking anything away from the shininess and the presence of this caliper. We did the red touches with the Stahlbus Bleeder Valves and also our TWM caliper spacers. I just want to mention something. So this is the left side caliper that we have yet to install, but I love these calipers because you could interchange the side of the port, right? So if your brake line is like this bike, where it's on the inside of the caliper, these ports are the same size, they're M10. So you could move this bleeder to this side and run it on the outside if your line is on the outside, or in this case, like the 1199R, you could just run it on the inside. It makes things very flexible because you don't have to mess with these lines to run these amazing calipers on the motorcycle. This is giving me a boost to go on and change the other side, and then we'll move to the back because we got 2 more calipers left to do. that's the rear caliper on, and I love the way that it looks. Now this beautiful wheel has a beautiful rear caliper behind it as well. The red Brembo logo looks really good with this TWM rear wheel nut as well. I'm not gonna bore you to death with bleeding the brakes because we've all seen how it's done, but a quick little tip before I let you guys go. The rear caliper, the correct way to bleed it is to unbolt it, bring it up high, at least as high as your master cylinder or higher, so that the air can travel up this way, because there's no way you're gonna get it throughout the system from the front of it. So that's the right way to do it. If you change your rear caliper on any bike that has an underslung brake caliper, you may run into the issue of not being able to bleed it. That's the correct way to do it. There's a lot more exciting parts that are awaiting this motorcycle. I think this was pretty much a quick little episode. I want to remind you guys all the products that we used on today's video is in the link in the description below. But that's pretty much it. This was the caliper episode for 1199R Resurrection / RestoMod. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Until next time, guys, have a good one.